A word reaches us, a message appears, a voicemail is played. Someone rejects us, ignores us, or simply responds in a way we did not expect. Before we answer, before we speak, and sometimes before we even understand what we feel, the body reacts. Attention narrows, muscles tighten, breathing becomes shallow. The person may appear completely still from the outside, but that stillness is a reaction being contained. The external event may last only a few seconds, but inside, a complex cognitive shift is underway as the brain tries to reconcile a reality that no longer matches its expectations. This network illustrates the shared mental model two minds build over time. The brain does not experience every interaction as if it were completely new. It learns patterns. When I offer affection, this person responds with affection. When we disagree, we eventually repair the connection. This model helps us feel safe because it makes the other person predictable. When trust is intact, the brain does not need to analyze every word or action. Trust allows love to rest. When the response we receive is different from the response we expected, the brain registers a social prediction error, the distance between what we expected and what actually happened. The pattern connecting the previous interactions fractures. When this pattern fractures, we aren't just losing a person or a dynamic, we are losing the fundamental understanding through which we viewed the relationship. This prediction error immediately threatens core needs. It attacks our sense of belonging, our sense of control, and the future we had already built inside our minds. Ordinary misunderstandings create inaccurate patterns by accident. Deception is different. Deception deliberately controls the information available so that another consciousness constructs the wrong of reality. When that false reality shatters, the brain cannot simply return to rest. It is forced into a state of intense, protective investigation. This flowchart shows the heavy mental tax of cognitive vigilance. When established patterns become unreliable, ordinary interactions require constant hypothesis testing. You begin re-examining previous conversations, past absences, and old explanations. The past itself becomes uncertain. The relationship moves from understanding to constant hypothesis testing. Affection may still exist, but vigilance begins occupying the mental space where intimacy once lived. This internal distress eventually produces visible behavior. The same invisible wound can cause one person to pursue, another to attack in anger, and another to shut down and refuse all contact. We tell ourselves we are fighting for love, but if we look closely, we are often fighting to recover control over a lost future. We are resisting the fact that someone else has closed a door without giving us a say in the decision. The compulsion to argue, to beg for an explanation, or to demand a different outcome is the brain's attempt to force reality to fit back into the pattern it previously understood. Anger, sadness, fear, and longing are valid. They are data telling us that something important has been threatened. But emotion is not instruction. It does not automatically dictate the right action. Reclaiming our agency requires a deliberate pause. Choice returns only when we pull apart the objective reality of what happened from the internal narrative we attach to it. First is the fact. What objectively happened? They ended the relationship, or they did not answer. Second is the feeling. What is happening inside? We feel rejected, angry, or humiliated. Then we must confront the meaning we assign to it. This is where we risk adding a permanent story to a temporary fact. They left is a fact about their decision. I am unlovable is a conclusion created by pain. Next, we identify the underlying need, whether we are trying to recover dignity, certainty, or validation, and we choose an action that respects reality and the other person's agency. Acceptance is not agreement. It is ending the attempt to control what no longer belongs to us. This diagram illustrates the process of updating our understanding with the smallest change justified by the facts. One person's decision is evidence about that person and that relationship at this moment. It is not a final judgment on our human value.
Life becomes our choice, not when nothing can trigger us, but when a trigger can create a feeling without being allowed to dictate our behavior. We may not choose the first reaction, but with awareness and time, we can choose what that reaction becomes.